Hey guys, Carvey from Buddy Fight Glasgow here with Sam, and we're doing a deck profile on his Asgard deck Legend World. On you go, Sam.
We have recorded this before, but somebody was an idiot.
Fuck up, mate. Your iPod's just a retard.
No.
Yeah.
Just a retard?
Nah.
We also recorded this when it was less shiny.
Yeah, when it was less shiny. Now it's all the shiny, nearly.
So, 4 jokers. 4 SP jokers. It's part of the main combo of the deck. It's pay 1. When it's discarded from hand to the drop zone, call it at a pay 1. Instead of its usual call cost of pay 3 gauge.
Yeah.
Then there's 4 Fenrir, which is the powerhouse of the deck. It's pay 5 gauge. Its effect is it's unaffected by the spell Gleipnir, which we'll come to later on when I explain the spells.
It's a 10-6...
10-6-7.
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know.
So, this is one of the best cards in the deck. It's effectively a ditch and draw, which then triggers this. So,
It sets up combos for Fenrir as well.
and you get a draw, because you can ditch this, and then it's in the drop zone for when you need it. So, this is not Asgard, the only thing that's not Asgard in the deck. It's effectively just a gauge 2 when it's summoned. So,
yeah,
it's just
like,
gauge
it's
control.
needed.
It's gauge control. So that's all it is. And lastly, the size 1 Asgard. It's generic 521. Yeah, that's it. I can't say anything else about that. We play 4. Well, I play 4 weapons, 4 rune staff. It's pay 1 gauge. Rest it. Gain a gauge. So it's effectively free. You just have to have the gauge to pay it. What it does is it reduces the life costs of great spells, which we'll come to just about now. This is Great Spell Ragnarok. So this combos with card I'll talk to about afterwards. When you have a certain card on the field, which is, where are my shinies? Put them at the top. Great Spell Fimbulwinter. So when this has 0 soul, you may pay 3 gauge, pay 2 life, which is negated if this is on the field. You don't have to pay that life. You blow up everything. Everything hand.
Both players' hands go, both players' field go.
No soul guard, nothing.
All effects are negated.
Apart from weapons like Durandal.
Everything gets blown up, basically.
Apart from Durandal and Jackknife.
Yeah.
Goldrar. But apart from that, 3 SPs as well.
You're welcome.
I got one myself.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I don't play 4 because it gets ridiculously cloggy.
Yeah.
There's also a new searcher that's just been released for it, potentially. It searches this, and it might search this. We're not sure of the we're not sure of the English stuff yet. It might have another pay 1 to search Fimbulwinter, pay 2 search Ragnarok.
Yeah, but remember what happened with Red Shield? They thought it was a completely just nullify. They thought it was going to be like green and blue, nullify attack, deal 1 damage, but it's pay 2 gauge, nullify attack. So that's kind of annoying.
So the essential spell of the deck, which is Great Spell Fimbulwinter. So you put two cards from the top of your deck into this card's soul, and at the start of each turn you lose 1 of the soul, and when it goes to 0 soul you draw a card. The only reason you play this is because of the Ragnarok.
Yeah.
If this didn't require the Fimbulwinter, this is a fairly poor card, to be honest. It's a fairly...
Yeah, it wouldn't be run, I don't think.
It wouldn't be run. It's a draw for nothing. It's almost an egg 1, effectively. But yeah, it's needed for the Ragnarok combo, which is comboed with this card.
Gleipnir.
So Gleipnir states you may set this card by paying its call cost, which is putting a size 3 in its soul. Like so. Then when it's destroyed, you get to special summon the card underneath it without paying its call cost. So this Fenrir, there's normally 5 gauge, became
0.
Became free.
Well, yeah, rag.
So
3 or 2.
3 or 2.
Yeah.
I'll explain combos at the end of the video because I'll just get through the cards first. So this is the most essential, the second most essential spell. It's effectively a nice one. It's pay 1 gauge, draw 2 cards. Or if Brethren Guard is in your drop zone, it's just draw 2 cards.
Which is amazing.
So
yeah,
the combo.
Explain what Brethren Guard is.
Brethren Guard, it is pay 2 gauge, counter, either nullify a spell or destroy a card on field, a set card on field, like Gleipnir, which will then trigger Gleipnir's effect
on Fenrir.
And
then that's you've got that. Then that's you got your Brethren Guard for your symbol.
So yeah, there's one other little Asgard guard in the little 3 thing, which is Berserk Guard.
2/2 slapbacks.
Which is just a 2/2 slapback. It's fairly generic. It is generic actually. There's no conditions on it all. It's just
give
that's something +2/+2.
Yeah, especially if you're sitting on what's his name, the ditch and draw one, which becomes an 8 ass.
What is it called? Hegelswager.
Yeah,
I don't even know.
It becomes an 8 defense with that, so it's pretty good.
So the one last thing about these 3 little things is there's another interaction between Brethren Guard and Berserk Guard. So when you activate the Brethren Guard, you may pay 2 gauge and discard a card from hand, for example Iceblade Joker. If Berserk Guard is in drop zone, you may pay 2 gauge and return the Brethren Guard to hand, which is fairly useful if you want an endless amounts of negates and you have enough gauge for it all. So on to the last card, which is generic as nobody's business, which is Holy Grail. If there's not a monster in center, nullify an attack. Simple as that.
Yeah.
So
main combos.
Combo pieces. Need one of you. Need one of you. Need you. I need you. And I just. Why are you wet?
Wet?
Yeah.
Strange.
So this deck has an almost unstoppable OTK, which is what drew me to the deck in the first place. It all revolves around Ragnarok and Gleipnir and having a no-soul Fimbulwinter on the field. So you have the Gleipnir with the
Explain how to get to this point though.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I've got this in hand. I've got it here. Got it waiting. So if you have a no-soul Fimbulwinter, you can play the Ragnarok. Say you don't have the weapon, so you have to pay the 2 life, which isn't too much of a problem depending how much your life is. But so the Ragnarok will block the Gleipnir, so you'll get a size 3 monster with 6 crit on field, and your opponent won't have any cards in hand. So that's good enough as it is. But when you discard your hand, say you have the two jokers, that's an OTK with 10 damage, which is unstoppable unless
the buddy called. But you will never get this off first turn yet. Yet. So that is the main combo of the deck. The way to set certain things up is through this. So you've got these 2 in hand. If you use this as effect, you get to ditch the Fenrir to the drop zone so it can be used with the Gleipnir, and you get to draw a random card, say it's an Iceblade Joker, or sometimes more necessary, the Fimbulwinter.
which is occasionally really needed.
Always.
So, the item, it is effectively free to play, and at every turn you rest it and you gain a gauge. And the deck's ridiculously gauge heavy with the Ragnarok, the Jokers, and even the spell
Fenrir as well.
Fenrir, if you have to get to that point to actually just call it by itself, which I have done a couple of times.
Yeah.
So, right, that's the setup of the deck. So, say you don't have this Ragnarok. You just don't have the Ragnarok in hand, but you have a Brethren Guard. You can pay 2 gauge, destroy this Gleipnir, and then summon the Fenrir. And then, say you have a Joker in hand, you have this in the drop zone. You may pay 2 gauge, discard the Joker, add this to hand, paying a gauge for the Joker.
Yeah.
You get an 8 crit combo from 3 cards.
But the only difference is that the opponent has hand and field.
Which, it can be a problem, but depending on the
situation again.
Not the situation, just determining on the different time of the time of the how long the game's been going. Because if you're near the end of a game, most decks run out of steam fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Apart from Dungeon, who just keeps going like nobody's business. But yeah. So the reason behind the Zlatorg is purely gauge. Like, that's pay 2 gauge. That's pay 3 gauge if you need to call it, which has to be done occasionally. That's pay 5 gauge.
Yeah, it's needed at 4.
So the deck's ridiculously gauge heavy.
Yeah. But apart from that, it's amazing.
But that's not a problem with the deck.
Yeah.
Because it's built into the deck's build. I've played it, so the deck will hopefully never run out of gauge.
Yep.
Until you win, and then you're like, cool, I don't have any gauge, but you have no hand.
But I won.
But you have no hand, so I don't see a problem with the deck in that respect. The only thing the problem is getting this card.
Getting that card is the one. It's like a grind if you don't have it first turn, and then from there it can get either very messy or close. Anyway, guys, that was Legend World Asgard from Corvey and Sam here, and we'll see you in the next video. See you later.